Hello there. Once again, this is Anton from Anton Bay. Thank you for joining me on a wonderful morning this weekend. I have got a amazing pile of comics for almost nothing. This I paid $9 for this set of Grimjack. Now, I recently came across some more first comics, and I wasn't trying to get like a massive first collection, I guess, but inevitably it's been happening. So I'm just gonna have to set them up one at a time. So I got the first issue. Now, I would point out not all of these are super great shape. Some of them are a little rough, but for the price, it's amazing. I'm not terribly familiar with Grimjack at all. In fact, I know nothing about it. It's one of those first titles that never looked quite as interesting as some of the others to me. So I'm going to take a flip through these, but yeah, it's just odd. I don't know the premise. I don't know if this is a sci-fi book, an Earth book, or whatever. He looks kind of like a space pirate. I'm guessing there is some space piracy. I do remember this issue, issue number 2. I pointed out the nipple monster doesn't match the cover. He's actually yellow inside, which I thought was weird. See? Voila. Green, yellow. Anyway, back to the actual purchase. I was able to score this set on eBay. It was another first lot that no one bid on. Just nobody bid on it. And that was why I got it. And it said it wasn't in the best condition. And most of them are, but some of them aren't. Some of them are rather rough. This is 1984. This is pre-Ninja Turtles. So if you're into the 80s independent scene, you'll know that it isn't tainted by the revelation that comics could be super, super valuable in different ways, which means it's going to probably stick to its route here and not unnecessarily add ninjas, which would be this is what most 80s comics did. Like in the time, hey, post Ninja Turtles, you want to be big, you add ninjas to your book. Anyway, I got an amazingly solid run of this stuff. Issues almost 1 through 50 with very, very few holes. You get an idea of the art in here, which I think stays pretty consistent throughout the series. And yeah, here's an example of some of them that weren't so great. They are a little banged up, but not terrible. Not unsalvageable or unreadable. I mean, it's not a highly collectible comic anyway. I mean, this is not ever gonna, even in pristine shape, these aren't worth much. So it really doesn't matter if it's a little bit banged up. This one's a little rougher. Got a little bit of water damage. It's like the middle stack got a little bit rough. Anyway, I couldn't believe it. I haven't even been looking for this stuff. It just kind of comes up and it's like, oh, do you want a bid on this? It's first comics. Nobody apparently cares about first comics like they should. So I'll see the auction and I'll be like, well, you know what? I'll throw nothing on that. I just like the other one that I did with Whisper. I got it for the minimum bid. Like, that was the first bid. So this was $9.99 was the first bid. I bid on that. Got it. Just like that. This one is quite water damaged. But it doesn't really matter. Wow, that one's a little bit tough. Let's see. I do love these types of revolvers. If you've never had one, I've had a few. Very, very fun to play with. Very, very fun to shoot. Don't currently have any black powder pistols now, but they were very fun to use. So there's Western stuff in here. There's alien stuff. There's alien, whatever that guy is. Who dares challenge the Lockulars? I wouldn't have pegged it as a Western style book, but it is like a sci-fi Western monsters. I get, I'm sensing some like Native American influence in here. Issue number 12. This book ran a long time, like surprisingly long time. Grimjack, Suspect. See, we go from the very Western looking thing to a very futuristic sci-fi planet. It looks like it just bounces all over the place. Following our lead character. This guy, I swear I've seen before in Nexus. Almost positive that's the same guy. And that would be the same universe, or I believe it's the same universe. It's certainly the same comic publishing company. Oh, I've always kind of wondered why. I first had a weird, quirky style, and I always kind of just wondered, I'm like, well, was it not for everyone? Is that why it didn't really catch on? Or did it just suffer the same fate that so many independent titles of the day did, where you just can't compete in the world with Marvel and DC? Printing expenses were much more for these littler companies. You can always tell because the books are, I mean, a lot more expensive than your typical Marvel and DCs, and they do not want to stand. You see, they got a pretty good little waiver to them over here. I might just pass them over. Grimjack number 16. Is that a gap? Did we hit a gap? Nope. Nope, no gap. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't pass on it for this price. I don't imagine most collectors, if you were going along and you saw this stack of comics for $10, and probably no matter what it was, give it a shot. Issue 17. We're up to, what, 1985 now? Got a green wasp lady. Number 18. No gaps. Nice opening page. Multiple big pages. Okay, that's really cool. You get a big opening page. You get two more big. Is that a McDonald's flag? Nice. Didn't know they had an army, but they do in the future. Yeah, I like that. That's a way to open a comic with 4 big opening splash pages. I haven't actually seen that, I don't think, before. Issue number 19. Yeah, the covers and the outfits, it gives no indication of what weird world this is, where cowboys and black powder pistols exist with mutants and aliens and super technologically advanced societies and space travel. I would not have pegged that, I would not have guessed that. That's interesting because, yeah, you see the occasional Grimjack laying around, and I had no idea what it was. Now I'm looking through it, and I'm just kind of like, I'm looking through it, and I kind of thought that would fill me in onto what it was. But it's still not really explaining itself. I'm not getting the gist. Like, this looks nothing like some of the other pages or books that I've looked at. Looks like it's going to keep it all over the place. That's kind of a fun idea. I've seen this type of art before. Very, very, I don't know what you call it, compartmentalized, very busy. I was never a big fan of it. That is disgusting. interior art's still staying good. Like, I don't mind that. I think we saw this kind of really dense art in a couple of issues of Lobo miniseries. I know Tank Girl used that kind of art style where it's just very busy and yet single colored. Yeah, you got shotguns, you got swords, you got space. Special anniversary issue. Looks interesting. Just looks like it's all over the board. Now, Bob Violence for something completely different. That's weird. We get a completely different art style. Completely different genre of story. Grimjack number 25, still no gaps, I don't think. It's just pumping them through. And oh, another severed head. That's never good. I noticed a couple more severed heads the last several issues, and I'm like, well, I guess we're just going to keep seeing those. Grimjack 27. This lady is melting. Robo Silver Surfer. Anyway, yeah, I'm still amazed by the sheer amount of comics I got for the price. $9.99 was the bid, and I think he was real reasonable on shipping. I want to say it was less than 10. Like, he shipped it for less than 10, put it in a big box, sent it media, which of course, you know, you're not supposed to do. For some reason, they still don't want you to ship comics media mail, which I think is ridiculous. They give you some crap about like ads and stuff. Well, you can't because it's got ads. All other books can be sent media mail, but not comics because of the ads. None of these ads are even remotely relevant anymore. I don't know how that's... Like, if I sent a coffee table book that was full of ads, would that count? No, it doesn't count. I can totally send that. So why I can't send comics media, I don't know. Got some Gundam-looking guys here, and our art style looks to have changed. It's looking very much like a $20.99 Marvel title now, for some reason. Instead of the weird indie. What is this? Time. Grimjack 31. Yeah, we're looking more mainstream now. Slightly more stuff that I would have seen before. At least similar art style. Singles Nights. Complete different stories going on in the back with a really cool looking art style with them too. Oh, these look really neat. Bright. I think I've seen this kid. This like little kid in the trench coat. I think he's one of the first. He's like a little kid detective in space. I don't know his name. I've come across him in some promotional materials from either First or Eclipse, and I cannot remember. Oh, check it out. First Comics presents Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles graphic novels. I have these big graphic novels in color from First. It is fantastic. It is the best way to read the original Ninja Turtle series, in my opinion. I loved it. Grimjack 33. Still in 85? No, we are in 87. We've skipped a year since I looked last. And now suddenly we look like a DC Vertigo book in here. Like, yeah. Much darker, more heavily shadowed art style. The backstory is still brightly colored. Evangeline. I was wondering, I was trying to remember this the other day, if Evangeline was a First Comics or an Eclipse. And it is a First. I do have this whole series. This is pretty good art in that series. I like it a lot. It was one of those series, it's kind of like this, I was able to pick up for not a whole lot. And so I thought, why not? Makes perfect sense to me. still looking like either a DC Vertigo or a Dark Marvel's 80s title. You know how Marvel went through that phase in the 80s where they would make their books, some of their books, really, really dark and like creepy. Stuff like Daredevil or with Elektra, or who was it? Ghost Rider, Typhoid Mary, those types of things where the book had that real dark look to it. That's some of the vibe I'm getting off of it now, just like their coloring. And I can't tell if we were in space or if we were on Earth, or if in the context of this book, it doesn't even matter. Spill Your Guts being the name of the letter page. I was kind of wondering what it was, and I hadn't looked yet, and there it is. Grimjack DOA. I think the reason why these aren't sitting up there is these have been left in a box that wasn't full enough. If you've ever seen that, you get a box of comics that just doesn't have enough books in it, and then the first few like slouch down. And these were all bagged when I got them, but the bags are pretty nasty. Just older bags, so I pulled them off. I don't usually keep my stuff in bags anymore, and it's why I don't care that these have a bit of a fold to them or a bend. These have no water damage, so they're very nice. Because they'll either get flipped through or read, and if they're laying out, that'll happen more likely. That, and I heard somebody say one time, it is kind of ridiculous how, you know, comic book people, collectors tend to always bag everything. Like, okay, you got a $10 minor key that you bought somewhere, or actually $10 used to could buy you a minor key. Now you'd have to spend $50 to get a minor key, and you put that in your Mylar bag and your backboard, and oh, I'm seeing like Starfire parody. But you'd put all that, you know, you'd put that expensive book in a backboard, bag and backboard, you'd store it carefully and all that stuff. And then you would also take the comic you got out of the quarter bin, or the free giveaway comic that they give away on Free Comic Book Day, and you put that in a bag and a backboard the same way, and you preserve it the same. Like every single piece super matters, and it's kind of silly if you think about it. So books like these, no, I'm not going to bag these. I'm not going to board these. In fact, I don't bag and board anything anymore. I'm just going to put it out, put it on my shelf, do whatever with it, maybe stick it in a comic box, and pull it out, read it, flip through it, feel it in my hands. I think we get away from that when we do too much stuff online. Stan Lee used to be a big advocate of always having a comic, you know, in its physical form. And, you know, in some ways he was really right, because it's also crazy, like, this is the other thing I don't understand about, like, slabbing books. Why do we slab books? Some books, maybe I get that, like some really old stuff to preserve it. Maybe get a final grade, and mostly just to preserve its existence. You know, there may not be that many of these left. That's worth protecting. You want to slab that? Okay, I guess I see that. First off, you should totally be reprinting some of that old stuff so that we can all keep enjoying it. But, you know, if in those extreme cases, okay, this is great panel work right here. I get it, slab it. For 90% of the stuff I see people slab, what a waste. What an absolute waste of time and money. And what a perversion of the hobby. So, I mean, comics are supposed to be comics. They're supposed to be read. I can't think of almost any other collectible that people would slab out of existence. Like, to the point that you can no longer touch or enjoy or collect what you just purchased. But that would also lead me to complain about people who don't open their action figures, and that kind of falls into the same realm. It's like, why would you do that? Anyway, that was a long rant to get off on Oh, it's already a pretty long video. I can't believe how many issues of Grimjack I got. We're back to looking like a totally independent first comic, and I love this look here that we got going on. Their colors, in my opinion, you could have gone a little bit brighter, made it a little bit weirder, and I probably would have enjoyed that a little bit more, because I don't know, that's just me. I like bright comics. But if you're looking for, I mean, it is called Grimjack, so if you're Grimjack and you're in a future that's dark and weird and sci-fi and full of monsters and cowboys, then yeah, you get a pass. You can go a little bit darker. Green hair, smoking a green cigarette. Vampires, never a good thing. Book 3, I think I have, of the Ninja Turtle books, I think I have 4 volumes of that. That is a heck of a big splash page with a giant monster and everything. Looks very cool. Issue 46, I haven't even looking. I don't even know if we've hit a gap yet. I mean, this is a solid chunk of comics for this. This looks, I love this art style. This looks almost like Valiant, but like way, way better. But very, very cool. Very, very cool. Grimjack Mind Rot. Oof, now we're getting into, that's a mess. That's crazy. That's really wild paint. But our pile over here is getting smaller. You've always got to have one issue in your series where the hero is standing in the mouth of a giant monster and it's trying to be like closed. There's so many of that. That's one of those cliche like cover concepts that I've always appreciated. Never gets old. And we're back to looking about like we did in the beginning. I mean, they're legit looking. And then we get back to the weird stories in the back. I'm actually appreciating the art style in the back of the books more than I am in the front of the books. These little short stories that they're putting in there are looking mucho fantastic. 50th Anniversary Bloodbath. 50th issue. I'm seeing more than a couple of like what I would call parody or rip-off characters. Which is fine. It's just kind of something I noticed. Issue 51. Yeah, I don't think we've hit a single duplicate, or not duplicate, single gap yet. Looking to be fairly consistent. Let's see here. Issue 53. Yeah, I think this has been a solid run of 1 through 53. I don't think I saw or noticed a single gap in any of that. Just knocked something over. That's all right. And then this is our first gap, is issue 62. And I'm not sure. Like I said, I don't know how long this book ran. This art looks much, much wilder than some of it. What's our year here? We are now published in 1989. So this is what was on the shelf when I was 8. That's kind of cool. Badger stuff. Looking good. And then it looks like, what is it, special 75th issue? I don't know. This is like a big, thick one. So I don't know. Oh, wow, we got glossy pages. Glossy pages are actually throwing some glare onto the page. The art is really wild in this one. But it's so thick, it's almost like a trade. Like, pretty major stuff here. I was gonna see. It does say continued, so apparently Grimjack did not even end at 75. But I have a solid run here of 1 through 53. Oh, that is a big pile of comics. 1 through 53, and then a 62 and 75. And those look to be quite cool. And like I said it again, $9.99 for the whole title, for the whole pile. And you can't beat that when it comes to a good comic book price. That's my haul. Came in a ratty box. Some of them have water damage, but I think it was before they shipped. They did tell me all this stuff, so this was an accurate description of what I ordered. I'm just lucky to have it. It's a book that I probably wouldn't have sought out, but if you can get it for a good deal, I did. So I got it. Anyway, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. You guys take it easy. That's my story, and I'll catch you later. Bye.